Okay, let's just dive right in. We live in a world that is constantly, and I mean constantly, trying to tell us how we should feel, what we should think, and what we should do. It is a nonstop storm of information and pressure and just uncertainty. But what if the key to finding your calm wasn't some new app or some fancy life hack, but a battle-tested philosophy from over 2,000 years ago? Does this sound familiar? That little buzz in your pocket, the endless scroll, that feeling that you're always just reacting to a world that's literally screaming for your attention? It's exhausting, isn't it? It can leave you feeling totally out of control, like you're just adrift in this sea of digital chaos. So what if I told you that having the power to find inner peace, no matter what's swirling around you, isn't some kind of fantasy? It's actually the core promise of Stoicism. And look, this isn't a history lesson. Think of it more like an anchor, a practical, really powerful tool for navigating the storm of the 21st century. So to really get the solution, we have to really understand the problem first. So let's take a closer look at what I'm calling the modern storm. Just think about it for a second. What's the very first thing most of us do in the morning? We roll over and we check our phones. That one little act instantly puts you in a reactive state. You're responding to the demands and the dramas of the outside world before you've even had a chance to check in with yourself. We start our days on the world's terms, not our own.
But what if the answer isn't to try and silence the storm outside? What if it's to build a fortress inside your own mind, a place that the chaos just can't touch? This is the heart of the Stoic solution, what they called the inner citadel. So, how do you actually build this fortress? Well, it all starts with one simple but absolutely game-changing idea. The philosopher Epictetus just nailed it when he said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." That right there, that's the Stoic superpower. It's about fundamentally getting the difference between what you can control and what you can't.
Just look at this breakdown. We spend so much of our energy on the stuff on the left, fuming about traffic, stressing over what other people think, getting all worked up about some negative comment online. The Stoics would say this is a complete and total waste of our energy. Their advice? Shift your focus entirely over to the right. This is your domain, your response, your mindset, your actions. That's where 100% of your power actually is. And just listen to how the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius put it. He wrote this for himself, like a personal reminder. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This was one of the most powerful men in the entire world, and he's admitting his true power wasn't over his empire. It was over his own mind. Okay, so that's the big idea. But how do we actually build this mental strength and make it part of our daily lives? Let's get practical and look at a simple Stoic training routine. This isn't about just gritting your teeth and getting through hardship. It's about proactively training for it. So first, you start the night before. You set your priorities. You wake up with purpose, not in reaction mode. Then, step 2, negative visualization. And I know it sounds a little grim, right? But it's actually an incredibly powerful tool. By mentally rehearsing challenges, you become less fragile when they do happen, and you become deeply grateful when they don't. And then step 3 is the ultimate mindset shift. Let's take a real-world example. Say a project you have poured your heart and soul into gets canceled. The immediate reaction? Frustration, anger, maybe even despair. You feel like you've just hit a brick wall. But a Stoic would ask you to just pause and flip the question. Is this really a dead end? Or could it be a detour? An unexpected chance to learn something new, to prove your own resilience, or maybe to pivot to something even better. The key is, you get to decide what it means. And this brings us to one of the most powerful, kind of mind-bending ideas in all of Stoicism. The thing that was blocking you becomes the path forward. The challenge isn't in your way, the challenge is the way. That's how you forge real strength, not by dodging difficulties, but by using them as the actual fuel for your growth. All right. Now, maybe the most common place we all face obstacles is in our interactions with other people. So let's look at how Stoicism gives us a toolkit for that social arena. The Stoic approach here is this really fascinating balance. It starts with empathy. You know that coworker who's always short with you? The Stoic view is to remember they might be dealing with something you have no idea about. But that compassion doesn't mean you let them walk all over you. Your self-worth comes from your character, not from their approval. So you can observe their difficult behavior without letting it poison your own peace. And this gives us a tactical playbook. When someone tries to manipulate you, you don't argue, you don't engage in the drama, you just observe it for what it is, and you confidently assert your own reality. If someone consistently lacks empathy, you stop expecting them to be a source of comfort for you. That's a boundary. You protect your energy. And when someone tries to control you, you reclaim your autonomy by stating your boundaries clearly and holding them firm. This isn't about being aggressive, it's about being sovereign over your own mind.
So, after all this work, this mental training, this reframing, this boundary setting, what's the ultimate payoff? What's the reward for trying to live a more stoic life?
Now, this is so crucial to understand. Stoicism is not a magic wand that's going to make all your problems disappear. That is not the goal. The promise isn't a perfect life. It's something much, much more powerful. It's profound freedom within an imperfect life. It's that unshakable knowledge that no matter what the storm throws at you, your inner citadel will hold.
And the payoff for this work? It's incredible. We're talking about a genuine inner peace that doesn't get rattled by all the chaos outside. A life that's driven by purpose, where your core values are like your compass. A resilience that's so deep that you actually get stronger from every single challenge you face. And underlying it all, a powerful gratitude for the present moment, because you're no longer wasting your life worrying about things you can't change.
So, after all of this, if you forget everything else, please just remember this. In the entire universe, with all its chaos and all its complexity, there is exactly one thing, that you have absolute, total control over. And that one thing is your own mind. That's it. That is the beginning and the end of your power.
Look, the world is not going to get any quieter. The storm is here to stay. So the only real question is, what are you going to do about it? The Stoics left us the blueprints over 2,000 years ago. So I'll just leave you with this. How will you build your inner citadel?